Hey, what's up? Chef Jesse here, Uncle Jesse. How you guys doing? Today, I just want to start by saying I want to thank everyone who's wished me a happy birthday so far. I've got over it's up to like 108 or something birthday wishes. I'm getting birthday wishes from people I don't even know. They got to be on one of my pages or something. I don't know. I'm getting uh, happy birthday greetings from people I really don't know who they are. But anyway, I appreciate it. I mean, I really do. So I keep checking. The numbers keep going up. It's like election night, looking at these numbers going up and up and up. It feels wonderful. Feels wonderful. Yeah. All jokes aside. Anyway, folks, today I am. With this pandemic stuff, we usually Gilbert and I usually go out to eat. We usually go to I like Outback, or we usually go down to Little Italy. I live near Little Italy, so we go down to I love my Italian food and my pasta and stuff. But today, unfortunately, we just can't do that today. There are some restaurants that are open in Little Italy, but I don't want to eat outside. For one, I don't like. I never like to really eat. I'll eat like in a garden or something, but I really don't like getting to eating outside. Really, especially in New York City with the dust and the cars and the asbestos coming off brake shoes and all that stuff in the air. I'd rather eat inside, nice and cozy, some nice music, dim lights. That's my environment to eat. So, and we can't do that. And then even when you eat outside, now, recently we went to eat some pizza, and we were outside, and there's like, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there, homeless and everything, begging, putting their hands over and like begging you while you're eating. And I'm not gonna eat like that. I'd rather stay home. I have as you know, I got surgery on my foot and stuff, so I'm in no condition to be outside in the street. And I got this wheelchair. It's just nearly impossible to go through the whole thing. So where else to spend a nice, quiet, night at home? I'm 57 years old. I already partied everything. I partied all my birthdays and did all kind of crazy shit and broke nights and did stuff crazy that you wouldn't even imagine that I'd done. But so if one birthday that I missed, not doing anything, not going out, it's not that bad, okay? And I'll spend a nice quiet evening with my boyfriend Gilbert. That's good enough for me. And with you guys wishing me a happy birthday, it really means a lot. So today I'm going to be cooking something, nothing special, but I don't know. I woke up in the mood to eat some nice meatballs, and I put it into a sandwich, a meatball parmesan sandwich. That's all I want for my birthday, a meatball parmesan hero. Very simple to please, right? So I'm gonna make my own meatballs, and there's hundreds of recipes to make meatballs. Most of them are traditional, passed on from your grandmother, the great grandmother, from your aunt. Like I said, every family's got their own tradition. Every family's got their own recipe. You can find recipes on YouTube. There's hundreds of recipes out there to make meatballs. So I don't think any one of them is right. Some of them are better. Some of them, So anyway, recently I saw another recipe. I do my meatballs one way, and I saw another different recipe where this guy added, I add breadcrumbs to it. I was at Italian breadcrumbs, but and I've had sometimes bread, but this guy soaked bread in water for like 20 minutes, and it came out, it looked like a sponge. He squeezed it, and even though it looked kind of not nasty but kind of funny, it went into the meatball, and the meatballs came out really delicious and soft, everything. So that's what I'm going to do. So I changed my recipe around. So today I'm going to make meatballs so I can put them into a sandwich and make some. I'm going to use fresh mozzarella that I bought, some real good mozzarella, and I'm going to put it in there with some nice marinara sauce, and I'm going to make myself a meatball hero for Gilbert and myself. And that's it, very simple. And then we're going to have a nice ice cream with some, I'm going to make it like an ice cream sundae with pineapples and cherries and all kind of stuff. It's what I'm thinking. Hey, it's my birthday. I can cheat on my diet, and Gilbert can cheat on his diet too. So anyway, folks, like I said, this you might look at this and say that's not the way to make meatballs. I don't know what's the right way to make a meatball, right? So anyway, I'm gonna show you how I'm making these meatballs, and you can take it for what it is. Hey, So stay tuned. I'm gonna get ready now. Okay, so a lot of people use three types of meat to make the meatball. They use beef, pork, and veal, and they also use that to make meatloaf and stuff like that. But today I'm going to use The recipe, I'm going to use beef, but I'm going to mix in some pork. And not pork sausage or anything like that. I'm going to use ground pork meat. I'm not making too much meatballs because it's only for me and Gilbert. So maybe in the hero, maybe 4 meatballs or 3, depending on the size. So I'm going to make these meatballs the size of golf balls. And the reason I'm making them the size of the golf balls is because it's going to shrink when I cook it. I'm also going to cook these in the oven. So they're going to shrink a bit. So I'm going to make them, a good size. So when they shrink, I'll still have some meatball left, right? So anyway, let me show you what I'm doing so far. I got my meat. Okay. Make sure you wash your hands. My hands are already washed. I washed them twice already. Okay. This is the lighter one is the pork, and this is the beef, right? And there's some more in the mixed in the bottom there. And I try to proportion it 1 to 1. I got my bread here that looks kind of crazy, soaking in water. Okay. And I'm going to let that soak in water for about, 10, 15 minutes. Then I'm going to squeeze it, get the water out of it. But first of all, I'm going to add in here some parsley. I'm going to add some parsley and some fresh basil. I'm using only 2 leaves of fresh basil because basil is very strong, folks. It's very strong. So let me cut the stems off. Okay. I'm using my Psycho knife. This knife was named by my good friend Doris. She named it the Psycho knife. So she baptized it the Psycho knife. So we call it the Psycho knife now. Okay. So there goes my fresh basil. Now basil is very strong, like I said. So you can cut some of the stems off, Okay. And I'm gonna put that into my meat. Okay. There you go. I'm gonna put that into my meat. I can smell it. Oh my God, I can smell it already. This is fresh parsley. Okay. Watch your fingers there. You don't want to put fingers into your meatballs, right? You get a meatball giving you the finger. Anyway, so finely chopped. Okay. And this might be too much. So I'm just gonna put some to the side here. And then I'm just gonna get this much in here. Okay. So like I said, these are most of the meatballs recipes are traditional. Passed on from I got some, and of course what wouldn't be an Italian meatball without oregano, right? So I'm gonna put some oregano in there. Okay. You gotta have oregano in there or you're not making. Okay, there you go. Oregano. I'm gonna use some Italian seasoning, which has about everything in there. Okay. I'm gonna make these meatballs nice and tasty. I'm also gonna use some garlic powder. You gotta have garlic powder. I love garlic powder. Look at that. Okay. And I am going to use some garlic. This smells terrific. Garlic salt, garlic flavored sea salt. Okay. It says it's the erased. It just says that. Okay. Now, you don't have to put too much because remember you're gonna put these in the sauce. Okay. And I'm gonna put some Progresso Italian breadcrumbs. Okay. Now, depending how much meat you're making, you can see how much I'm making meat. That's maybe a pound or so. I don't know. I'm not too good with measurements, with weights. I'm gonna use 1 egg. And then but first I'm gonna wait for my bread I think my bread is done. So I'm gonna take my bread and I'm gonna squeeze out the water. And I'm gonna squeeze as much water out as possible. Look at that. It's like a sponge. Okay. And I'm gonna squeeze as much as possible the water out of this bread. Okay. I used some this is Italian bread that I used. Okay. So I get the most of the water out of there. And this is gonna make your meatball really become, soften up. I'm trying to get the inside, most of it. Okay. Now again, hundreds of recipes to make meatballs. I know you're probably watching this and you're saying, that's not the way I make it. That's not the way Grandma Nona made it. Well, Nona is not around anymore. And Nona passed this on, right? So, okay, so I've taken most of the white part of the thing. And remember, I also put breadcrumbs in there. So, now I'm going to beat 1 egg. I'm going to beat 1 egg in there. And like I said, make sure your hands are clean. And Wash them and wash them again and wash them again. I'm going to dry them. And I'm going to start mixing this with my hand, okay? You can use gloves, you know. Took my ring off. Okay, I'm going to start to mix this up, okay? And make sure that you mix it up thoroughly because you don't want one piece to end up different than the other piece. Okay, so you want to mix it well. Okay, make sure that everything is in there. Okay, and like I said, I'm making only a few meatballs, so I'm not making a lot. But this would be the same if you were making like a lot. You would just make sure that you proportioned everything evenly. Okay, and then there you go. It looks like it's, you know. Don't worry about keep mixing and mixing and mixing. And like I said, I'm hoping to get at least 10 meatballs out of this. You know, for between 8 to 10 meatballs, I'm trying to get out of this. And like I said, it's you know, it's looking like I might make it. You know, I want some leftover meatballs for tomorrow for Gilbert's lunch. But if not, you know, you can always do something else. Okay, so it looks like it's mixed in there. Okay, it looks like it, and the egg helps it bind, and the breadcrumbs make it, you know, soften it up a bit. So okay, so wash your hands again, and then you start to make your meatballs, right? So you see how that was done? So then I'm gonna get a sheet, a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and I'm gonna start making the meatballs. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how that's done. So folks, I'm starting to make my meatballs. I need about 8 of them for the sandwich. I want to put 4 in each sandwich. So I think I'm gonna make enough for the sandwiches and tomorrow lunch. Okay, so I got all my meat in there, okay, with all the ingredients and stuff. And I take, you know, you just do it by eye. And if you need more meat, just add a little bit of meat. So I'm making the size of about approximately a golf ball. I don't know. I don't play golf. I'm not, you know. Let me stay quiet. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to squeeze all the air out of it because when you cook these things, they'll rupture. You know, they'll break apart because they have air pockets in it. So try to get as much air as possible. Look at that. Look at that nice round ball, meatball that is. And there you go. I take about this much, and I start making. Okay, this looks a little bit big, so I'm going to take a little bit off the end. There you go. And what I'm doing, taking the air out. Okay. And I'm making them, and I'm spinning them around, and squeezing as much air because again, you don't want air in there because it'll rupture them. Okay. Now, one thing I forgot to put in this mix was Parmesan cheese. The recipe I was looking at called to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese in it, so I forgot the Parmesan cheese. No big deal, you know. I could always sprinkle the cheese on top, you know. But I'm gonna make these into a hero with some marinara sauce, and I'm gonna use some fresh mozzarella. That's mozzarella for you guys who don't know what mozzarella. I'm going to use some fresh mozzarella, right? I'm going to use some shredded mozzarella. I'm going to use some shredded and some fresh mozzarella. So you're going to see how I do the sandwiches. I'm going to put the fresh mozzarella nice and sliced, and then I'm going to cook it in there and shape and melt it. So look, I did pretty good. I have enough meatballs for Gilbert's lunch tomorrow, and I've made I got 11 meatballs in it, and this one is 12. So I made a dozen meatballs out of that meat. And it's a good thing because I froze the rest of it up. Okay, so again, take the air out. Okay, they should look like this. You know, it's a nice size meatball. I don't know if you can see the meatballs. This is the way they're looking. Okay, so I got the last one will probably be a little bit bigger. Actually, you can make 2. There you go. You can make 2 of them out of this meat. Okay. And I'm a little bit superstitious, so I didn't want to make 13 meatballs. So I'm making 14. Call me stupid, I don't know. But it's just one of those things that you grow up with. You know, so I didn't want to make 13 meatballs. So I'm making 14, right? So I got 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. 14 meatballs. So to stay out of that number 13. Okay. So, and you can always freeze these. You can have them in the freezer for a while. And you can come out one night you come home late from work, you don't know what to do, you pop them out of the oven, out of the freezer, throw them into some sauce, cook them, and you have yourself some meatballs, cook up some pasta, or make them into a sandwich, or you can, if you have friends over, you can have them for, hors d'oeuvres or whatever the hell. For picking, you put them on a toothpick. I don't know. Use your imagination. Anyway, folks, that's it. I'm gonna sprinkle this with some parsley on top. Yeah, look nice. I'm gonna put these in the oven. I'm gonna cook these in the oven. There's a lot of other ways to cook them. People tell them, like brown them and then put them in the oven. Brown them, put them in the sauce. There's tons of ways to do it. If you're making a lot of pasta sauce for pasta Sunday, I would brown them and put them in the sauce, in a big pot of sauce that you make on Sundays. But I'm not making any lot of sauce. I'm just gonna have enough sauce to make the meatballs Parmesan. So there you go. You see my meatballs, right? You've seen them. I don't know if you can see them. There they go. And I'm gonna put them into a dish, a glass dish that holds the heat, and then I'm gonna put them in the oven. So I'm gonna cook them in the oven, and then I'm gonna prepare the sandwich with some nice cheese, mozzarella, and I'm gonna put. Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So anyway, folks, that's the basic. That's the way Uncle Jesse's way to make meatballs. Like I said, most meatballs recipes are passed on from grandma to aunts to and it's usually a family tradition. The way you make a meatball, you go, oh, that's the way my mother made it. That's the way my grandmother used to make it. So it's a lot of tradition. A lot of tradition in Italian foods and a lot of foods. A lot of cultures, the tradition passed on from generations to generations. So Italian is the same. So we are going to start putting these in the oven, and then on my next video, because this video is too long, my next video you're gonna see how they come out. So stay tuned for my next video because you're gonna love this. Okay, and again, there's tons of ways to make meatball sandwich. Meatballs. So if you like your recipe, stay with your recipe. If you don't know, some people might not even know how to make it. Now you know how to make it. Cooking with Uncle Jesse, right? There we got it. Anyway, folks, once again, I'll see you in my next video. Thank you guys for wishing me a happy birthday. This is the way I spend my birthday in the kitchen, and I love it. And I'm waiting for Gilbert to come home from work. By 7 o'clock he'll be here, and we'll be eating soon after that. So stay tuned.